Today's date is actually Thursday, February 27th at about 12:15 a.m. I just received a call that a kidney transplant, kidney option was viable. It was a viable solution, was something that had come about. And so I thought it was important to document this moment and kind of chronicle it. This has been part of my journey, a central part of my journey for lifestyle. And I'm pulling up at my house right now. And I just wanted to understand what my state of mind was and like psychologically how I felt when I got the call, what the decision was, because ultimately I want others to be able to have this knowledge and be able to use it and, you know, understand the plight. So, pulling up to the house, my home, and weighing options. I'll be talking to you guys later. So they just called me for the kidney. Walking through the halls of Emory, going to the room, transplant wing. It's right now 2 a.m. On the way to get the kidney. I actually do look a little rough, and that's okay. I'm in my Mumble for Life shirt. The time now is 9 a.m. and I am up taking immunosuppressive drugs. So there's a cocktail they put you on when you first endure a kidney transplant, and I'm still learning. So I resort to my trusty binder right here that instructs me, and Emory's so great. The whole transplant program is awesome at outlining what you need to do for healthy and a great transition. And so we have my medication schedule. And so I took the tacrolimus, I took the mycophenolate. Okay, now you got to take the blood pressure medicine and the antiviral. And so so carvedilol, which is a blood pressure medication. And so this is 9 a.m. This is what 9 a.m. is going to look like for me for the rest of my life. And today is Tuesday, so it's a lot to remember with this thing. There's certain drugs you don't have to take because it's Tuesday. Certain drugs you have to take when it is Wednesday. And so that's all it is. I believe this is the last pill for this morning. And just like that, I've satisfied my requirement for 12 hours. Now, after having had to endure dialysis, I would say that's a pretty even swap. Took medications, now I can go about my day. So I just want to show y'all the day, what the morning looks like for the rest of my life, and thank you. Hello, Kyle Cobb here. So this is actually day 4 of being in the hospital. I arrived here, today is Sunday, May 3rd, 2020. We're about 65, 66 days out of transplant. Kidney's doing well, but I arrived here via the ICU, and I got here because basically I was literally going in for a routine procedure on Monday, having a stent removal operation done. This was supposed to be the last hurdle, in the race against, healing process and time. And so this was the last hurdle, the stent removal process. And I went ahead and went in and was early enough at the appointment urologist. And I, didn't have to wait. And I went back and, I was very cautiously optimistic, I must say, about enduring the stent removal. I didn't know what to expect. I knew it was a surgery. I knew it was minimally invasive, and also knew I'd be awake during the entire process. So I just didn't know. But no, I went in, had it. The team was great there at Emory St. Joe's. Did the operation, and the physical operation literally took less than 2 minutes. I was probably back there 20 minutes, and left within half an hour. And so on my way home, I had a Zoom video conference with my chief surgeon, the one who performed my kidney transplant, Dr. Kenneth Newell. And he told me that my numbers were looking excellent. I had just had lab work drawn that previous Friday, and it was now Monday, and he was calling me with my results, and he let me know that my creatinine level, which is the key metric measuring how the kidney is performing, he alerted me that my creatinine level was at a great level. It was at 1.2. That is the level that they look at and see in children. I'm 23 years old, so kidney performing well. I felt great. Got home, and so Monday, I usually drink 4 liters of water a day. Eternal water, that's my go-to, that's my favorite. So that's what I'm usually drinking on. Monday, I said, I'm not gonna drink as much water today. I just don't want to maybe try to heal up a little, and just before going back to the restroom, and let that be that. So, I had a good Monday. Tuesday, I woke up. I woke up kind of early. Like I usually wake up on Tuesdays to do my morning fast. So I woke up early, but I was just a little tired that day. A little tired. I don't know why. I don't know. I attribute it to possibly the operation, and maybe my body's just recovering, and that was just part of it. So, Tuesday I kind of just laid around the house and chilled. Wednesday felt a little bit better, but realized that I wasn't peeing as much as I had been prior to the stent removal operation. So, I'm like, I'm asking nurses, I'm asking my family, I'm doing my own independent research online. I'm communicating with my transplant coordinator via the patient portal, and just trying to figure out, okay, I'm peeing less, so what's going on, And there was a multitude of explanations that sounded fairly reasonable. I mean, they're like, okay, you had a stent in that was probably keeping the passageway completely open, then it was taken out, maybe it's normalizing, maybe this is your body just going back to its natural state. Because when I tell you, I was literally using the restroom 12 to 14 times a day, a night, even in some cases, just no matter, based on how much I was drinking. And so it had gone down to, less than like about 6 times, and so that was a pretty drastic jump for me. And so, it was clearly decreased urine output. Thursday morning, I woke up and my face was swollen, particularly under my eyes. And that is, for those of you who have been on dialysis or know anything about retaining fluid, my face was swollen to a point, like under my eyes, it was puffy. And that led me to believe that, I was retaining fluid. Not a good thing, if you're on dialysis, not a good thing if you had a kidney transplant, because the biggest thing of the kidney is to regulate, clean your blood and also regulate your urine and make sure that fluid output is adequate. So I messaged my doctor on the portal, let her know. She said, go to the ER. I called a couple mentors of mine who are kidney transplant recipients of more than 20 years. Let them know what was going on. They said, just go to the ER. And I was super hesitant to go to the ER just in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic and everything that's going on. I just didn't want to go to the ER because I'm like, that's putting me, already been in a compromised immune state. That's putting me susceptible to more things. So I finally get the last word from my doctor, and she's like, go to the ER. If you're having those symptoms, if you're having complications urinating, go to the ER. So, load up the car, tell my family, it's time to go to the ER. We got to get this taken care of. You guys are probably not going to be able to come in with me. You probably aren't going to be able to stay with me. So I'm going to go ahead and pack a bag. I'm going to go ahead and, take all the essentials, grab my phone charger, grab a good book, and, grab the iPad and just try to take a can of Lysol, take some masks, gloves, just so I make sure I'm well equipped. Get to the ER, and the ER is totally different now just due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So the ER now is outside, especially the check-in for the ER. Let me rephrase that. The check-in for the ER is outside. So you're outside, and you have to kind of sit outside and in a line, socially distant, of course, 6 feet apart, and wait for them to check you in. So they checked me in outside, and I told them that they're like, who told you to come here? I'm like, my transplant coordinator recommended I come in. I'm getting a transplant patient. I just had a transplant. I need to go ahead and, be seen. So they walked me back to radiology, which is a makeshift ER at the moment. And, I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of just sitting there. And they told me to have a seat. That was the big thing. They didn't tell me to check in at the desk. They said, just go have a seat. Somebody will call you up, because theoretically, I just checked in at the desk. So I had a seat. I understand there's a certain amount of waiting time just that goes in with ERs anyway. So not really paying much attention, just kind of on my phone, reading, chilling out. I realized that, hey, I've been here for a while now. In fact, it's almost been 2 hours. Haven't seen anyone. It's different people in here than that were in here when I came. In fact, even the people that came after me have gone on and been seen. What am I missing? Finally go up to the desk, and I'm like, hey, I've been here for 2 hours. What's going on? They're like, oh, we asked about you, but we didn't know, and we didn't know you was over there. So I'm so sorry. Okay. So I checked in with them, first and last name, got that. And went ahead and got my blood drawn over at the clinic, because I had scheduled labs for the clinic for that Friday, but she said I could come that Thursday if I wanted to just go ahead and just come on in, and we could get it taken care of like that. So I went ahead and went to the clinic while I had my name in the hat, just waiting. Clinic was super light. Nobody was there. Went ahead and got my labs taken. Came back over to the ER waiting room. Waited for about 5 to 10 more minutes. They called me back. So they wheeled me back, finally in the ER unit. I go back there, the bed's super uncomfortable. The nurses are on 10 because it's COVID. There's a lot going on. It's just, the ER is just a fast-paced environment at any rate on any day. But now it's like times 10. So in the ER, just kind of chilling out. They take another set of labs on me. They take cultures. They take CT scans. They do all that. Long story short, I was in the ER for about 8 hours. Just spent my day in the ER. Then they finally came back with some lab results. They're like, okay, there was a big jump in your creatinine. At first, the woman said the jump had gone from 1.2 that Friday, which is like the best ever, to 5. I'm like, okay, that's definitely indicative of something being wrong, but 1.2 to 5, it's manageable. We can get that down. They come back and say, well, your creatinine has jumped to 8.9. So, it was 2 sets of labs, John, so that's totally understandable. But the second set of labs came back higher than the first set of labs, and they were literally drawn maybe 2 hours apart. So I'm like, there's something happening quick, and it's kind of going downhill. So get up to the unit. They realize that the creatinine, they start me on fluids, all that good stuff. They look at the scan. They realize there's fluid around my kidney, called hydronephrosis. There's been some fluid backup, some urine backup in my kidney, and it just kind of went to my kidney. And it's tough. It's tough. And so they're giving me fluids, and then the next day I have to have a PCN tube put into me. And that brought along the accompaniment of my friend here, which is essentially a bag. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And basically there was a blockage in my ureter, and that caused me to not be able to pee, and so I wasn't able to pee. And so the urine backed up on my kidney, causing pressure on my kidney, and my numbers went up, and everything was out of whack. And so I have this bag now. Definitely temporary, but I have it for the moment. And I just wanted to do this video to let people know that, this is what they don't tell you about kidney transplants. I've always been reminded by my mentors and by people in the transplant community, and I'm so blessed to have such a great support system around this, but I've always been reminded that this is a treatment. Kidney transplant is a treatment. It is not a cure. And what that means is that just because you had a transplant doesn't mean that you're cured. And there are going to be bumps in the road. There are going to be things that come about, such as this. And so now I'm in the hospital waiting for them to give me, the proper medical care, medical attention. And we'll have this behind us in no time. But, just wanted to give an update about what's going on and let you guys know I'm still fighting. I'm still a warrior. And we're going to make this thing happen, baby. We going to be okay. We going to be all right. Life always has its challenges, ups and downs. The vicissitudes of life will come and impact us all. It's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how many times you can get up. Whether your head is bloody, body tired, or mind in a place of negativity, the ability to pull yourself from the depths of your own darkness and ascend towards the goals and dreams of your future is the greatest determinant of success. Some things in life are promised to us. Hell, maybe even death. But if death is undefeated, I promise you I'm going to take it to 3 overtimes. I want it just that much. Life is amazing. God is the greatest. Just stopping by to provide a word of encouragement, everyone. Letting you know that you can do it, you can go, you can accomplish all your goals. Please never allow someone to make you feel as though you're inadequate, you're insufficient, you're unintelligent. These are things that just won't work. Only way they'll work is if you believe them.